can only do it when I'm doing a video.
Stop. To come to an end, cease to happen. Denoting one or more people or things already mentioned or assumed.
It was already live.
Complete absence of sound. Stop. Stop the silence. Stop the silence.
Hello, everyone. I am Ebony Dixon, the baby jumper. This is Stop the Silence, what you're listening to, where we give a voice to your written words. And I'm just pretty excited about this tonight. You know, here with my brother I ain't seen in 12 years. It
seems
like
been 12 years. It's been a while.
It seems like 12 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Tamika, our co-host, Ink Pen Diva, she's not going to be with us today. We miss you. Hope you're being safe out there.
Be safe, Tamika.
Because it's really raining and stuff around here.
And that's why we just
right. You was on one side of the highway. I was on the other side, and we both was in traffic jams.
How you have traffic jams on both sides of the highway?
Listen,
Columbia.
This is Columbia, South Carolina, and I-20.
Yes.
East and west. It's no joke.
Man, what's going on, everybody? She got AC the Future, man. I'm happy to be here.
Got AC the Future in the building. It's good to see you, bruh.
Man, it's good to be here, man. I'm glad. It's only it's an honor. You know, this is only my second radio interview since doing music.
Oh, I feel a little special.
Man, so yeah.
I'm a little special.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you.
Oh, here we go. I'm not giving you no ammo, sir. Ain't gonna be no shots fired over here.
No, not today. But yeah, I've been doing music for about a while now, but I've been doing it for the Lord for about 5 years. So Christian rapper out of Columbia. So it's been a journey, man, and I'm just glad to be where I am today.
That's what's up. Tell people a little bit more about yourself. Your real name is
Alastair C. Davis, man. But you know, everybody calls me AC the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Either people call me AC or Future, and that's kind of where the name came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do the Christian rap. I said that. I'm also in the church strongly, leader in the church over evangelism. Also on one of the co-hosts of Urban City Radio. We're doing good things, and I'm just grateful for what God is doing through that. So there's a lot going on,
isn't it? Though,
yeah,
you just felt to explode.
Yeah, it's blowing my mind, man. There's so many things that I find my hands in a lot. I find my hands in a lot of different pots, but you know, He's helping me to balance it out. You know, I have a family, wife. 6 kids.
Yes.
So that's a journey with
6 and growing.
No, not growing.
Whatever.
Yeah, 6
I'm prophesying
and
right now.
Nah, don't prophesy.
You better receive it.
I know.
You said you cast it.
I'm about to return the sender. Probably what?
Oh my goodness. So you've been writing for how long?
I've been writing all my life. Writing was always a passion of mine. When I was younger, I've always wanted to be like an author.
Oh, okay, cool.
I started with poetry. Poetry was my first love.
All these people, you and Sierra, I'm going to get y'all.
Yeah, the poetry was my first love. I actually did poetic competitions and things like that.
I didn't know that about you, AC.
I don't. A lot of people don't.
I wrote, how long? How many years?
I don't talk about myself.
Whatever,
much.
Go ahead.
But I started doing poetic competitions. Actually won a couple awards and started writing a poetic book.
Word.
But it never came out. I lost, I guess, all of the writings eventually. And then I got into novels, got into doing that kind of thing. And then eventually I just kind of fell in love with music along the way. And I found out music was a way to be able to both tell a story and be poetic. So that's how I kind of fell in love with it.
That's what's up. Now, I know a lot of people want to know, I mean, you said that's kind of where AC and Future came up, but where did you get the name AC the Future from?
Well, basically to explain it, AC is a family name. You know, even though my name is Alastair, nobody calls me that. My mom, my dad, nobody in my family
at all. If you didn't tell me that, I never would have known.
Yeah, that's not a name that's used. So if you would have called me Alastair, it's like you talking to a stranger.
Wow.
So everybody calls me AC. And what happened was when I was before I got saved or anything like that, the name that I had when I used to be in the world was Future. Everybody called me that. And so why'd
they call you Future?
Well, it was a name I called myself because I said if I'm gonna do music, I want to be the future of music. I don't want to be what everybody is doing now. I don't want to be in the now. I want to be. I want to change it.
Right.
And so when when I made switch over, I said I don't want to just be what I used to be, but at the same time, I want the people who knew me where I was to be able to follow where I'm going, and that's where the name AC the Future came from. It's so that everybody who knows the new me can relate to AC, but everybody that knows the old me can say, okay, that's Future, but he's not the same.
Right.
So
that's what's up.
That's the whole concept.
That's what's up. So you said you have 6 cheering.
Yeah, 5 boys and a girl. 5 boys.
Oh, that girl.
Man, that's the blessing. Crawling all over the house, getting it and everything.
That's what she's supposed to be doing.
I don't know. It's part of life, man. It's a blessing, though. I thank God for it. And it's growth. One thing about my family, it's blended.
Right.
And so, we kind of know from every aspect of what it's like. So I appreciate that. That's a blessing.
Shouts out to Ivy.
Okay, the lamb is still holy, that's the truth, and it
So
won't
yeah,
never change.
you're listening to
But lately,
Lyrical
this
Assault
shit
2
have
right
changed,
now.
still the same.
Yeah.
Like all these rappers, that's
this
the
was,
slander in our Savior's name, but they say the Christian
actually, inspired.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
We'll talk about it when we come
Talk
back.
about it when we come back. What's going on, everybody on Facebook?
Hey, everybody on Facebook. Hey, Mommy. Hey, Auntie. Hey, Ice. Hey,
Javar.
hey, Javari.
What's going on?
Sierra.
Hey, Auntie and other Auntie. I got 2 aunties on here.
Shanice. Thank y'all for joining. Please share this lovely post. Share it with your family and your friends. We have an exciting announcement at the end of the show. Y'all have to hold on for these next, what we got? About 24 minutes.
Yeah, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man.
Yeah, y'all hold on. We got some exciting news. Oh my gosh, I am about to boist.
I don't know if I'm a boist.
I'm a boist.
That's a lot to do.
I just I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyways, that was just amazing.
It's amazing, man.
Scared to give us something that he gave you.
I almost invited you just now, but you're sitting right there, so I don't have
It's
to.
fine.
I'm trying to make sure I am. I was like, Ebony should be watching.
What's up, Bubba? Shantae?
But you don't care, right? Long as it's a nice
Hey.
you can lose and could care less if he only sees you as a piece of meat.
Oh, man.
Here's another thought
Going on, man? When you coming back down to Columbia, bro, or is it back up here in Florida?
This is your wake up
That
call
back
and I'm
up or
ringing
back?
your
It's
bell.
back up.
What
Back
other
up.
creature you know seeks
Really?
attention by
I don't
wagging
know
his
where we
tail.
at.
Shantae,
It was fun for
Darby.
a night. You had the
I said it
time
right,
of
right?
your life.
Yeah,
Not
she
knowing
did.
you're the reason that man did your homework was right.
He doesn't realize you all hear him.
Oh, yeah. Just listen, Brianna. How y'all doing?
Justin?
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit them hearts, them likes. Make sure you hit that share button.
That's right, that's right. Rihanna.
There go my baby.
Ivy.
What's going on, babe?
What's she answer? Because a real man wants a wife that ass thin.
Annie. What's up, Annie?
Hi, Auntie Anime. I had to
Anime?
I had to say her name.
Oh, the cake anime.
No, don't.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Sorry, Auntie Annie. Sorry.
And paying the price. What I'm saying is that before you start to get kinky,
What up,
man?
Justin?
Gotta give me some more of them angel wings.
Look, if you were the shopper,
I need you to start doing vegan angel wings. You use cauliflower and a special seasoning.
It's how we live carelessly.
We'll talk later.
And how the church is being filled with the new millennium Pharisees.
See, my name's not long enough because everybody's saying the baby jumper, but they just saying AC.
That's what they call you. Ace dropping another album back to back.
Nah, it's not back to back, but I'm getting ready to drop a new project.
We were
Yep.
designed to take back what was taken from us, and it cast out the same
And that's the
demons
one
we
this
so
is gonna
truth
be
to
on?
hang among
Yep.
us. Yet it's still to describe us.
Pew,
I must be
pew,
complete.
pew.
No
Okay,
crumble clay
let me
that
just-
never even made it to the potter's wheel. What I'm saying is we never reached our purpose. Destined for greatness, yet somehow fell beneath
That's what
the
we do in
surface.
Columbia. Sierra, we be dropping albums left and right.
Any branch that doesn't produce fruit is worthless.
Gotta learn sometimes to let the good stuff marinate.
And that's a place
Yeah,
no father would
true
ever
that.
want his kids to be. So what that means is, if you really want your fruit to thrive, then you
Pray
must
for
constantly
me.
find yourself
I
by
hope
the
so.
Father's side. Like I said before, I don't mean no disrespecting this. Just a part of the body showing the
fruit to
body
dry.
some corrective.
Thrive.
And my hope is that we will all realize
Hey, mommy.
that the veil Jesus died to tear has been replaced over our own eyes.
Wow. You have just listened to AC The Future, Lyrical Assault Part 2. That was off of the Jetta Project.
Yep.
What is that all about?
The Jetta Project?
Yes.
The Jetta Project was basically, well, Jetta is first my grandma's name.
Oh,
Yeah.
Granny.
So, and she was, kind of the one, the rock of the family, the one that had the most spiritual background.
Okay.
And so I dedicated, that project to her. And the reason why it was called Far From Perfect is because at that time I had been saved for a while, but I was still battling with different sin issues, different things. And I just
We
wanted
can
to,
all relate to that, even years later.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a project where I wanted people to know that, even though you can give your life to Christ, you're still yet far from perfect.
Right.
Everybody has issues.
Right.
And so Lyrical Assault 2 was just a song where I was addressing some of those issues, from a world standpoint and then from a church standpoint.
Right.
So.
That's what's up. So when you go to write, like, what is your process when you sit down to write? Because you're a rapper.
Yeah.
And so you write lyrics. And so what is your process when you go to sit down and write?
Well, for me, I'm a little bit different. I can sit in rooms with other artists that write, and I could tell that I don't write like everybody else. And that's not, to be braggadocious. It's just that I write differently. For me, I have to have a beat, and the beat, it's like the beat kind of speaks to me. I kind of sit. So I
feel you on that.
I spend maybe weeks, days, sometimes even a month just studying the beat.
I don't be studying no beat.
Yeah,
that's deep. I ain't never heard nobody say they study a beat.
I study the beat because I want to know not just what I'm gonna say, but how am I gonna say it?
Right.
Because that's important.
That is, delivery is important.
That's why I've seen a lot of great artists that they got real good bars, but they just sound terrible. And it's like their delivery is just nothing that you want to hear.
Right.
So it's like there's a lot of people that can actually rap as far as the lyrics of what they're saying, but can't rap as far as make it fit the beat.
Wow.
And so I said I wanted to be that difference, and I actually found out that as an artist, especially a rapper, sometimes it's more important about how you sound than what you're saying. And so if you're not giving attention to both, then you're kind of degrading yourself and you're degrading the value of what it is that's in you. So that's why I spend a lot of time, studying the music, because it's like once I get a vibe of what I want and how I want to sound,
Right.
putting the lyrics to it is just so easy.
That's cool. I don't think I necessarily study, or maybe I didn't know what to call it, studying the music, but I do better when I get the music and then I hear it and I'm like, ooh, just like Shante Darby, who happens to be a producer and who will
Great
definitely be producing my next album. He sent me something one day. He's like, you think you want to use this? And I'm like, yeah, just bobbing my head like, yeah, I definitely want to use it. And yeah, you're right. The music tends to speak to you.
Yeah.
And I told someone the other day, I was like, I don't sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to write about grass and how it came up out of the earth. And
Yeah.
I sit down and I pray and I listen. Or it might just be little pieces of lyrics everywhere, in my purse, in the car. So it's just like all about piecing things together.
That's funny because when it's a song on the new project coming out called All of Me. You wouldn't know it, but when I first started writing that song, I was actually writing it about myself. And then halfway through, because I usually start with the hook, but this particular song I started with the verse because of how the beat was. Halfway through the verse, I started realizing I'm not talking about myself at all. I'm actually talking about Christ. And then that's how the song ended up becoming about Christ rather than me. So it's like, as when you're writing, a lot of times, like you said, it's a key thing to be listening, because sometimes you can have a desire of where you want it to go. And then you start writing, you start realizing like this could be something so much greater than what I imagined at first.
Right. And most of the times it is, I think, when you submit to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And you be like, okay, what do you want me to write? Like, you start writing, you're like, what in the world? Because I wrote a poem about, it's called Unafraid.
Yeah.
And it's about someone who is sexually abused or raped.
Yeah.
And that has never happened to me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, for me to write that, it was just like, that was God.
Yeah, it had to be.
You
Because you don't have that experience.
Exactly.
But you were able to write it as if you did.
Right.
Yeah, and that takes a true, it takes having a true relationship with someone who knows that. The only person who knows that other than people is God himself.
Right.
And so, I think a lot of times, we have to get into that mindset of knowing how to, one, let the beat speak to you, but have a true relationship with the creator, the author. So yeah, that helps out because there's a lot of things that I have penned. I've wrote a story similar to what you're saying, had no experience, have no story to correlate with it, but you would think I did.
Right.
So yeah, that's a key point to have.
Right. That is so, wow. So how influential are your kids with your writing?
My kids, man, they play a major part in everything that I write, especially when I think about my twins, my older set, because of everything that I went through with them, they had such a major influence.
That's such a testimony.
Yeah.
Man. I had my respect level for you just shot through the roof if you want to, I mean, that's on you. But when I found out, like, that just, I just
Yeah, I
saw
don't
you
have
a
a
different
problem
eye.
sharing it. I was in their life that time they were born, raised them as my own. And it was at the age of 3 when we went to court, and I found out they actually wasn't mine.
But they look like you, man.
Just like me, yeah.
Goodness, but go ahead.
And it broke me. It broke me as a person. But I said, you know what? They would. What really kind of encouraged me was when I was. What took it for me was in that moment when I found out, and I was sitting there crying. They were actually there, and they just kind of climbed on me and was like, "Daddy, what's wrong?" They just kept asking me that, and I was like, "There's no way I can walk away from something like that." You know,
Right.
there's a lot of people that can walk away from things like that. But that moment I couldn't. So, I made it my point. I said, well, if there's nobody that's going to step up, I'm not going to leave it vacant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why in one of the songs in Turner Signal, I was like, I plant the water, the flower, though I may not have planted the seed.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't matter, exactly where they came from. The fact is they're here. And as long as they're here, somebody needs to impart into them and make sure that they have not just a better life, but a better vision of what Christ is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And one example I used for scripture for that was the fact that, Jesus wasn't Joseph's.
Right.
So,
Come on, sir. Bring that back to our remembrance. But like that just blew my mind straight up, because you're right. If a lot of dudes have been in a child's life or maybe paying child support and they find out that child ain't theirs, pew!
yeah.
I'm not saying everyone does it, but I'm just saying
happens.
maybe a lot of majority, maybe half do that. And for you to be like, I'm just gonna stay there. I'm their dad. They my sons, and they look like you, man. Dang.
That's
beautiful.
It's not easy, That's
Right.
why I was threw that out there earlier about having a blended family. My wife is very supportive, but that's what I was talking about. So I have children that not mine, not my wives that we raised. I have
Right.
children that are not mine, but are my wives that we raised.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and then we have children together. So we have various aspects of what it's like to actually be a blended family. And so I thank God for that, because then I can be able to associate with different people in different walks of life.
That sounds like a wonderful book that you and your wife should co-write. I'm just putting that out there, Ivy. Usually around this time we have Tamika give us some writing tips. So since she's not here, would you do us the honor of giving someone some writing tips who might be thinking about being a rapper or how they can better themselves in writing?
Yeah. Okay. So if you're thinking about being a rap artist and you want to become a better writer or a better lyricist, I would say begin to study people who you gravitate towards. So like if you listen to a certain type of artist's music, don't just listen to the music, but study why their rhythmic pattern, study their sound. What is it about them that you like? Because there's something distinct about them that you like. And then begin to see how that fits and what makes it major. Then to begin to listen to, I guess, other sounds that other people aspire to. And then what you do is now you sit down and you say, okay, this is a general sound, this is a general sound, and then this is the sound that I have now. Mm-hmm. In what ways can I develop a sound that's still yet unique, but takes the benefit of everything that I've heard that's been successful? Too many times what we as artists do is we try to reinvent a wheel instead of perfecting the wheel that's already been turned. And that's essentially what you see with AC the Future. A lot of what I do is I've studied what has been great in times past and what is great even in the culture that's now. And then I say, but how can I make it unique to me? Because you still have to be unique, but that doesn't mean you have to be self-created. You can be, mentorship is key. So if, people put out their music for a reason. They want you to listen to it. They want you to make it a part of you. So do that and then take that and then make it unique to who you are and to your story.
That, as you were talking, and Jamel said, man, you are talking something serious. Sierra says, that's amazing. But as you were talking, I was just thinking about that's a life, lesson is not the word, but it's a life principle.
Yeah.
You have your mother, your father, or whoever is raising you. It's not for you to just mimic them to a T, but to apply what you gravitate towards, what they were saying to you, and apply that to your personality
Your life, yeah.
to help you, shape and mold who you are.
Yeah.
And that's you. And if we think about like all of the people that have been in our lives throughout the years, we've taken a little bit of something from everybody.
Yeah. Because what I think most people, what they do is they misconstrue what individuality is.
Right.
You know, it is uniqueness, but you are only unique because of what you experience.
Right.
So at the end of the day, who you are is only because of what you've encountered and experienced, and what you've accepted and said, that's what I'm going to make a part of me. So at the end of the day, you're an individual, but you're not yourself. You're not self-created. You're an individual based off the experiences of other people and other impartations. And so, you know, that's why you have to learn how to say, okay, this is what I've seen. This is what I've seen. This is what works for me. This is what works for life. Let me express that in a way that makes me me. And I think that's why we have such big issues, because everybody's so busy trying to find you. But you are whoever you create yourself to be based off the people you surround.
What would you say to someone who would be like, I've had a tough life, this was hard, they left me, they don't love me, and they just try to forget about that part of their lives? What would you say to somebody like that?
Make it work for you. You know, some of the greatest artists had some of the biggest struggles. Right. You know, so what I think it was Seven wrote a lyric where he was like, you can't get paint without pain. You know what I'm saying? And then I was, I got the revelation, like, and then it becomes paint because you're at the cross. Right. So my pain becomes art because of the fact that I know Jesus, and he helps me through that. And now I'm able to tell my story because I'm not traumatized by it. Right. And so many times, and that's why the Bible says we overcome by the words of the Lamb, by the blood of the Lamb, and the words of our testimony. Right. I went through what I went through. You went through what you went through. Right. But there is salvation, there's help, and then there's a way to take that and make that work for you. You don't have to stay there. Yeah.
And it's all about facing the truth.
That's true.
Facing the truth, and really, I've been on this forgiveness thing. I don't know why. I need to talk to the Lord about that. But you know, we have to learn to forgive people
without having to need an apology.
That is so true. We feel like, well, they didn't apologize. I'm like, that really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
How is it still affecting you? How is it controlling you?
If you can't think about that situation without feeling the pain of that moment, then you're still traumatized. Wow. You know, it's not about forgetting. Some people say, you know, a lot of people, when you bring up the topic about forgiving, people always ask, well, do I have to forget? Right. The answer is simply no. You don't have to forget.
And you're not going to.
Yeah, it's going to be, but you want to be able to say, when I remember, I'm not hurting. Right. You know, I can remember the moment, but not the pain. Right. You know, and I don't have to live in that pain when I remember the moment. Mm-hmm. And that's where you want to get to. You know, it's so, you know, and at the same time, you know, just because I forgave you doesn't mean I give you the same access anymore.
Right.
So
I'm about to give you a love punch. But yeah, I mean, and think about how many books can be written off of our own experiences.
Yeah.
Everybody's experience is a little different, and we need all of that in order to push forward in life. But y'all stay tuned. Stop the silence. Man, good stuff, man.
Man, you pulling it out. I'm just talking with you.
And listen, we got one more segment. See what I'm saying? I'm gonna ask you about your new project.
Okay.
After this, after I do the pew pew pew. Hey everybody, my mom talking about, come on, AC.
I don't know where I'm going.
You know where you're going. Hey, Carlin. Yeah, Bubba said, I studied the beat too. You got to flow with where the beat is going.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Miss Terry Bell, author extraordinaire.
Hi, how you doing?
Man.
Yes, you can get your shirt shipped to Florida. Absolutely.
We're going to tell you how in the next segment. I've always admired you as a person, and I've always liked you as a rapper as well.
Man,
so let me tell you something. I was a neo soul girl, like neo soul and reggae. Okay, boom. That's where I was. But and I'd hardly listen to rap. I'm like, I don't understand what people be saying, but I just really love your flow. You just sound like you're already up there. You know what I'm saying?
What I get that a lot.
You do. You don't sound like you local.
Yeah, I get that a lot. One thing I can say, I listen. You know, you
talking about as far as constructive criticism?
Yes, right. Very much so.
I think that's important.
It's very important. Yeah. I wouldn't be who I was today if I didn't get all of your music sounding trash just now. You know?
I almost needed the Heimlich.
But, you know, and that's where I tell certain people, you know, I don't say, you know, on social media, but I tell them personally, like, you're growing because you listen.
Wow. That's true. I think if we did that more, then we wouldn't be so defensive.
Yeah.
Because we would be used to hearing the constructive criticism. We'd be able to discern what was jealousy and what was actually trying to help us.
Yeah.
Instead of putting up walls.
Because whenever somebody tells us that something that came from us isn't good, we feel like they're talking about us.
Right.
Not just what we produced.
And I think, too, that when you're being constructively critical, that you have to explain yourself. And you also have to know who you're talking to.
Who you talk to, yeah.
Because, you know,
access to talk
right.
to them.
And you, okay. Just like with all your kids, your 6 kids. You don't, I put the 6 on it. 6, maybe 7.
That's
but
6.
you don't talk to all of them the same way.
You can't. No.
You can't, because they all have different personalities. They all receive things differently. They all react differently. So you have to know who you're talking to in order to give them the correction and love.
Yeah. And it's the same thing, you know. So you have to, I know I've seen several people destroy relationships because they tried to give somebody something that they didn't have access to give, you know.
Right.
I think one of the best analogies I've heard was I think Shepherd shared it when she talked about, you know, just because I invite you in the house doesn't mean you could just walk in the refrigerator and tell me what's going bad in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Basically just saying, you know, we might be close enough to where you can come this close, but we ain't close